Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm here to talk to you about Le Mans 66. In this review I'll be going over a brief summary of the plot, my quick thoughts about the film and whether or not you guys should go and see it. So I'm going to try and keep this review spoiler free. However, if you don't know anything about the film and you want to go in completely blind, then it's just come back to this video once you've seen the film. So with that, let's get started, shall we?
If this were a beauty pageant, we just lost. Looks aren't everything.
So Le Mans 66 stars Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby and Christian Bale as Ken Miles. In Le Mans 66, Ford are looking at putting out a car that can compete against Ferrari in the 24 hours of Le Mans race. So they enlist the help of Carroll Shelby and his team to help them build a car that can compete against Ferrari. And Carroll Shelby is all for it. He really wants to build this car and he really wants to compete in this race. There's just one catch to this whole thing. Carroll really wants to get his friend Ken Miles in the driver's seat of this car. However, Ford are quite apprehensive on this because they don't really know what Ken will say. They don't really like him as a person, so they try and push for their own driver in the car. So not only are they fighting to compete in this race, but they're also fighting to keep Ken in the driver's seat. And so we have Le Mans 66. So I was quite lucky to see this movie when I did because it was part of the secret screening event that Cineworld tends to hold every couple of months. So I get to talk about this movie a little bit early from the release date. Now, I have to say that I have zero interest in cars. I don't know any model names, I don't know anything about them. But you know what, I'll always see a movie if it, looks interesting. And I was going to see this movie regardless of whether it was the secret screening or not. Because you know what, I really like Matt Damon, I really like Christian Bale. You know what, put them in a movie together, guaranteed a good time. And how are these two in the movie? You know what, Matt Damon, Christian Bale, they're both really good in this movie. Would I say that they're probably Oscar-worthy? Probably not. I'd probably lean towards more Christian Bale getting an Oscar nomination. Though it would really depend on, which one he would get. Whether he'd get a leading actor nomination or whether he'd get the supporting actor nomination. If it was a supporting actor one, I'd definitely say that he'd be up for it. But leading man one, depending on, who else is up for it, like, say, Joaquin Phoenix and that, I wouldn't necessarily say that, he's up for that one. But supporting actor, all for it. Also, I was really happy to see one of my favourite actors in this movie, Jon Bernthal. Though he doesn't have a lot of screen time, every time he is on screen, I'm always rooting for the guy because he's such a good actor and he always commits 100% to a role. I'm just so glad that Jon Bernthal keeps getting work, and I really hope that one day they will revive his Punisher series and he might become part of the MCU or something like that. But I'm getting off topic. Jon Bernthal. And adding to the whole not knowing anything about cars, I didn't know anything about this event. I'd never heard of this race before, and I've never heard of any of these people in the movie. But one thing I am thankful for with this movie, it doesn't expect you to know everyone or everything in this movie. Sure, you've got to have some idea about the car brands and what they meant at their times, which you can probably gather from the first couple of minutes of the movie, but it doesn't expect any prior knowledge of you. I mean, right from the get-go, you can really feel the rivalry, and you're really rooting for the team just pretty much straight away. And I also found they didn't throw too much car jargon at you. Though obviously most of the movie is about, certain parts or how fast the car needs to go or what it needs to do. But I felt it was presented in a way that even I could understand what was going on. Though I'd say the ultimate draw to this movie is just seeing and hearing how the cars sound in this movie. That's why I really say that you should go see this one in the cinema, because you really need to experience just the screams and the roars of the cars as they're racing around the tracks or as they're testing them out or as they're just starting them up in general. So I'd say this movie needs to be experienced more than it needs to be seen. And you know what, Le Mans 66 has got a very decently paced story. Though I would say this movie definitely does feel as long as it is because I think it's about 2 hours, 2 hours 20. But at no point do you feel like the movie's dragging along, no point do you feel the movie's going too slow. It just evenly paces out the story and it really makes it feel like, a lengthy experience. But definitely in a good way, I'd say. But other than the acting awards, do I think this movie deserves any other Oscar nominations? And I would say, yeah, it does. I would say that it probably deserves a Best Picture nomination, it deserves some cinematography, sound design, things like that. Partly because I do think this is a good movie, but I mainly think it's probably gonna get them anyway just because of when this movie's released. Because we're right in the middle of Oscar season, and the Academy just really eats up movies that are released this time of the year. But I'm not saying this movie's a bad movie or it shouldn't get any nominations just because of when it's released, but the Academy does tend to pay attention to this time slot in the year. And I guarantee that 6, maybe 7 out of the 9 Best Picture nominations will come out of the time bracket of early October to early January. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. I was going to see it anyway, regardless of this being the secret screening, but I'm so glad that it was because I think the last couple of secret screenings I went to weren't exactly the best movies. Matt Damon, Christian Bale, and John Berthal are all really good in this movie. And, you know, I'd really love to see them all in another movie together. It's an evenly paced movie, it's interesting, it doesn't expect a lot of prior knowledge out of you, and you know what, this was just a good watch. But now, as for whether or not you guys should go and see it, I think you've already gathered that I'm definitely recommending that you should go see this one, and because pretty much I've already said it already in the review, but you do need to experience this one in the cinema. Because, yes, while this is a good movie, this movie definitely does shine when you actually see and hear everyone racing. Just the sights and the sounds are just something to behold on screen. It's not exactly anything groundbreaking, but it is definitely worth the admission to hear and see all this. Okay guys, that's my review of Le Mans 66. If you've seen it, what did you think about it? And what's your favourite racing movie? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. And until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!